It was big day yesterday for reform, as they held a big speech which seen thousands attend and hundreds of thousands watch around the country. Ultimately, Nigel Farage believes reform can get elected in 2029 and wants to make history. Nigel Farage held back no punches as he mocked and obliterated the current Prime Minister. It's a fantastic viewing. Let's get into it, whilst also going over all of the latest news from up and down the country. Firstly, Farage mocks Keir Starmer's clothing donations as he begins his conference speech. Here is what he said.
Do you like them? Very expensive. But guess what? I bought them myself. How about that?
Following this, Nigel Farage says Reform UK must take the English county councils next year. He said,
Take the English county council elections next year, plus areas like Doncaster and areas like Thurrock, where the district councils are up. Our first big test of fire comes on the first Thursday in May next year. We're going to need over 2,000 candidates. We're going to need you organised behind them, helping them. I genuinely believe if we get next May right, we can produce a result that is truly astonishing. We can get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people elected to councils, to be given positions of responsibility, to make us part of the lives of folk living in their communities. The opportunity is enormous. So I ask you, are you going to help us in this historic mission?
This is the message he concluded with.
In this party, we don't care about skin colour. We don't care about orientation. We couldn't care less who you are. We care whether you share the values of this country. We care whether you obey the law. And we'll judge you on who you are. We'll judge you on who you are as a person. Isn't this what everybody wants? Is that what we're going to fight for? Can we succeed? Can we make history? Are you going to be part of it? Thank you very, very much indeed.
Nigel Farage is not shy in calling out the Prime Minister and again has obliterated him, leaving Starmer with nothing to say. What are your honest thoughts on Nigel Farage and the Reform Party? Let me know in the comments. Reform UK MP Rupert Lowe has lamented woke ideology as he celebrated the paucity of rainbow lanyards. Lowe, who donates his MP's salary to charities in Great Yarmouth, also received applause after committing to defunding the BBC and ending 20 miles per hour speed limits. In a speech which also contained criticisms of devolution and legal migration levels, the former referendum party candidate said, "Let's scrap every diversity-related role in a vastly reduced public sector and judge people on merit." Lowe's speech was met with a raucous round of applause as the atmosphere continued to grow ahead of Nigel Farage's speech. In his attack against LGBT-supporting lanyards, Lowe said, "Conference, what a pleasure it is to be here today surrounded by so many like-minded people concerned about the state of our nation, with a refreshing paucity of rainbow lanyards in evidence." Lowe proceeded to claim that terms such as hate speech, transphobia and Islamophobia obstruct dissent. The Equality Act of 2010, for which there was no need, has given legal force and backing to minorities to impose their will and views on the majority, he added. This has fostered the rise of the rule of lawyers, not the rule of law, created unnecessary division in the country, and suppressed free speech across society. In his attack against LGBT-supporting lanyards, Lowe said, "Conference, what a pleasure it is to be here today surrounded by so many like-minded people concerned about the state of our nation, with a refreshing paucity of rainbow lanyards in evidence." Lowe proceeded to claim that terms such as hate speech, transphobia and Islamophobia obstruct dissent. The Equality Act of 2010, for which there was no need, has given legal force and backing to minorities to impose their will and views on the majority, he added. This has fostered the rise of the rule of lawyers, not the rule of law, created unnecessary division in the country, and suppressed free speech across society. An unnamed Labour MP voiced concern about his decision to donate his salary to charity, the Financial Times has revealed. They said, "It's all very well for him to do this, but of course there are some people who think MPs shouldn't be paid, and that we should do the same." A neighbouring Tory MP in Norfolk added, "He's a multi-millionaire, and he's not really an MP in the way that most of us are." However, Lowe's reception today suggests the 66-year-old remains in good standing with Grassroots Reform UK activists. The corpse of a tropical Atlantic storm threatens to take a wrecking ball to Britain's settled weather. Sunshine and calm skies are about to give way to potent thunderstorms, heavy downpours and hail. High pressure, which has driven the mild spell, will be shoved out by a barrage of lows from the Atlantic. Amid these could be the remains of Tropical Storm Gordon, a cyclonic system which whipped up the Atlantic earlier this week. Jim Dale, meteorologist for British Weather Services and social commentator, said, "Gordon's remains could potentially take a wrecking ball to the fine weather we have been seeing over the past week. Energy associated with former tropical storms' remains is likely to get caught up in the jet stream and head towards the UK, and depending on what track this takes, it could bring some very unsettled weather. In any case, it is safe to say there is a change on the way, with more in the way of wind and rain to come through the latter part of the month. Britain's weather is about to go through a major change as the jet stream shifts, pulling in low pressure from the Atlantic. High pressure will weaken, allowing a spate of lows to dominate the picture through next week, according to the Met Office. Met Office meteorologist Alex Deakin said, "There are a couple of big changes in our weather patterns likely over the next 10 days, and that does mean we are likely to see some wet weather. Settled conditions are because of the jet stream way up to the north taking low-pressure systems to Iceland and allowing high pressure to dominate. The jet stream is still to the north next week, but weakening. It is what is going on out in the Atlantic, and that is likely to mix things up as we go into next week. The jet stream is getting more lively, and it is getting more south-shifted, and that is likely to bring low-pressure systems our way. A pool of cold air high in the atmosphere will help drive the change, speeding air currents and unleashing downpours. A potent storm could be gearing up to strike ahead of midweek, bringing the heaviest showers to southern Britain." Deakin said, "Next Tuesday shows quite a potent area of low pressure to the south and the west of the UK, and that could bring us some wet and windy weather at some point through the early to middle part of next week. A cold pool is moving in across southern Britain, high in the sky, and that allows the air to rush up more readily. Faster rising air generates more in the way of showers, and this is what we call a cold pool, and it is going to generate some showers on Friday, and some heavy downpours are likely with some rumbles of thunder and even some hailstones. The grim outlook has prompted bookies to about turn on the autumn weather odds, with Ladbrokes slashing the odds on a cold September. Spokesman Alex Apati said, "Summer is seemingly long gone, and any hopes of an extended burst of sunshine have been dashed in the last few days. This month could now be breaking records for all the wrong reasons on the weather front. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye.